Welcome to Expert in You Showcase, the show where we bring you quick, powerful conversations with elite entrepreneurs and other professional business experts to share their best strategies, secrets, and tips to help you have more success in your business and life. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and this show is brought to you by Expert in You, where I empower professional entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts to not only stand out and become influential figures and celebrities in their market, but make 6 to 7 figure leaps in as little as 12 months or less. Imagine if you had a game-changing system that attracts and books your calendar with 20 to 40 highly qualified conversations a month, and you attract big client opportunities every single week like clockwork. If you're ready to increase your influence, impact, and income with strategies that work, book your business accelerator call with me now at acarden.com, and let's map out your next steps. And today, I have a great guest with me. I have Susan Friesen with me. And Susan and I met on LinkedIn. And so I kind of feel like she's a friend at this point because she has attended some of my things and we've chatted back and forth. And I just knew I had to have her on. And we are going to geek out around branding. So Susan, welcome to the show.
My pleasure, Anne. And likewise, I feel like we are good friends. I think we need to get together one of these days and merge our two countries together.
Yes, there we go. She's in Canada. I'm in the States, in case you were just tuning in. So I'm excited to talk about this because you and I were having a little bit of conversation before we started recording. And we were talking about how a lot of people don't really see the value of having a brand, or they think of a brand like McDonald's or Nike, and they think, oh, I can't afford that. And one of the things that we talked about and we said is that you cannot afford to not have a brand, and you are a brand, whether you realize it or not. And if you don't create your brand, someone's going to create it for you, and it's probably not going to be pretty. So, Susan, why don't you add to that?
Well, yeah, that was a big introduction. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm a brand strategist, especially focusing on solo entrepreneurs and small businesses, micro businesses. And often I find that either A, they think it's way too expensive, like what you were saying, that's for the big corporate giants, or B, it's not important enough. They want to just create their product service program and get the word out there. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, just don't worry about that. You don't need a logo. You don't need a website. Just go and do your thing. And so neither of them are really all that ideal if you want to create a long-term successful, sustainable business. Yes,
Right.
if you want to just go out there and throw a bunch of money on the wall and hope that something sticks, go for it. But when we look at branding, and it's not even branding, it's more about brand positioning. Because when you had said, somebody else is going to make it for you, that's exactly what's going to happen, because brand positioning is at the fundamental definition of it is what other people are perceiving your brand as. So they are creating the idea in their minds. What kind of experience are you going to provide? What kind of product or service are you going to give? What kind of results are they going to be? All of that is in the minds of your ideal target audience. So if you don't have everything defined and have those fundamental things in place in order to drive that assumption, that perception, then it really is throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping that somebody gets you and understands you.
And it even goes a little bit deeper as well, because your brand positioning sets you apart. So now people aren't thinking, okay, do I want Susan or do I want Ann? No, we're going to be very different. I do brand positioning with people, but it's a piece of what I do. You do brand positioning, but you do it differently than I do. And so that all shows up in our brand and in what we do. And it's why I don't feel like I'm in competition here with Susan, even though we have pieces of our business that are the same. That's really important, because how you set yourself in the market, I say in a category of one, is going to determine whether you're going to get the business or you're going to be passed over. So you can be vanilla or beige, or you can stand out and be sunshine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all part of the brand positioning process. before you have a logo, before you have a website, before
Right.
you get out there and create your programs, you need to have this foundation. And that foundation goes through that process of figuring out what your brand values are, what do you stand for, who are your
Mhm.
competitors, who's your ideal target audience, and most importantly, why should people pay attention to you? What's your unique selling proposition? And
Yes.
and then once all of that is defined, then everything that you do is driven from that blueprint.
Right.
And so everything that you say on social media, every product and program that you create is driven through that blueprint. So it's a, like I keep saying, it's a foundational element to
Mm.
any small business that
Mm.
will really help them stand out and thrive and be a sustainable, profitable company.
You helped me think of something as you were talking, and I would love to kind of uh, talk about this with you. One of the things that I see a lot when people are helping people create brands and they're business people, they're in business,
Mhm.
they are helping them create brands more around their characteristic than around their business model. I
Mhm.
teach around your business model
Mhm.
more than your characteristics. Like people, when you start showing up, people are going to get to know you, but people aren't, in my opinion, buying that. They'll buy whether they know, like, and trust you,
Yeah.
but they're not buying you because you're a nice person. They're not buying from you because you make them laugh. And
Right.
so I would love to get your thought on that, because I think that there is a disconnect out there in branding, and a lot of the branding experts out there, that I see them doing that, and I actually think they're hurting people's businesses because that brand becomes too much about the person and not about what they're really trying to be known for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much to unpack about what you just said.
Oh gosh, I figured. Okay, let's do it.
Right. So I'm going to begin with a caveat that there might be one instance, maybe one instance where what you just described could be beneficial. And that is if the brand, the business model is to become an influencer, because
Right,
you're buying the influencer and
right.
whatever they're selling, whatever they're pitching. So then it is all about that person and their unique personality and how they can connect with people.
Or
And
if you're an employee trying to get a job,
right, yeah, yeah,
that's a
that's a
whole
whole
different thing,
other,
right? Yes, yes. So,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
now go.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation about, because branding can happen anywhere in your life. So the wow, now I went off on that tangent and I can't remember where I was going to go with all of this.
Yeah, you were saying if you're going to be an influencer.
Yeah, yeah. So and
That's
then so let's put that aside, because most of our audiences, they're not aspiring to become an influencer.
correct.
That's a total different business model. But the for the other people who bring branding as with expertise to the table, they're
Mhm.
often looking at it in a funnel.
Mhm.
So branding does definitely have some of that personal element to it. It
Sure.
also has the business element to it. It also has the marketing element to it. It has your goals and your aspirations. Like there's so many different things that I take my clients through as we explore their brand position, because it is the bigger picture of everything of what what they want to achieve. Why are they in business to begin with? What's their strong passion? And hopefully it's not just to make money. Hopefully there's an underlying passion behind it that needs to come through. And you're talking about trust. At the end of the day, trust is the biggest thing. We have
Anymore it is in the market.
more,
Yes.
yeah, ever since COVID, trust has been a huge factor in gaining trust from our ideal clients in
Believe
order
we're still
to,
talking about COVID.
yeah, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to bring that up, but
Go ahead. I'm just kidding. Hey, we like to have fun on this show.
yeah, yeah. Let's just stay away from triggering conversations and words here. Yeah, sorry. But the truth is that trust became a huge factor to our brand. And it's really tough to garner trust until we know what is it about us, what is it about our business that should warrant and gain that trust. And then how do we communicate that to our ideal client so that they will actually trust us. And so all of that is kind of defined in this brand, this brand analysis. Basically, it's
Mhm.
an analysis of our business. And then once all of that is done, then we go into the logo and the website.
Right. That's all like secondary.
It
Yes.
is. It is.
Mhm.
So yeah. So the definitely don't just jump in and think, oh, I need a logo. Go to Fiverr and get a pretty logo with the pretty little thing on there, and think that that's it. That's not branding at all, as
Right.
we have been talking about here. So it is that foundational piece. So I guess my point is that there's so many different things
Mhm.
that need to be considered as we figure out that brand analysis and come up with that blueprint. And at the end of the day, all of your business decisions, all of your marketing decisions, everything to do with your business and how you get out there, how you get your messaging out there, will be in alignment with your ideal target audience and what they need to see, hear, feel from you in order to get that trust. And of course that's the lower layer.
Right.
The higher level is, how do you stand out to actually get in front of them and get their attention?
Right. The one thing that people don't realize it when you talk about it being a foundation, and we talked about it being really how people perceive you and the outside perception, people don't realize that now people are searching before they ever even decide to do any business. They're
Mhm.
Googling, they're looking online. And if you don't have a strong, powerful brand, you're not establishing yourself as really a real business. In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's kind of like your personal storefront. That's the way I
Yep.
look
Yep.
at it. And then your marketing is where all the visibility and all the outbound stuff happens.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
marketing. Your
Mhm.
brand is what people see. It's what they feel, what they think about you. And again, just imagine you're going by a store, it's a high-end store, you're looking in the window and you're like, oh, that looks amazing. I think I would love to go in and shop. It really is kind of the same thing if you think about it. That's my idea of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I often equate our website as being that storefront,
Mhm.
because the very first impression that people get when they land on your website is that immediate impression of whether or not that person has landed on the right place. Are they going to actually do what I need them to do? Are they going to take care of my challenges and my problems and all of that kind of stuff? And can I trust them? And that
But it's
happens
not even
within a split
website
second.
anymore. Do you think? I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's not even website anymore because now people have LinkedIn, they have Facebook, they have Google, they can go to 100 other places. And it's so it used to be that it was just a website, and now you have all these other platforms. You have to have that strong brand that's cohesive through all of those things because you don't know where people are going to come across you. In fact, a lot of times it's not your website. That's one of the last places they go. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, cohesiveness is so important. And it's more than just the visual part. It's how you answer your phone, it's how your staff
Yes.
treats people, how you answer your emails, how quickly you answer your emails. All of those things are combined into that first impression. What are you doing to build that trust? And so yes, in theory, if somebody finds you on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, our intention as a marketer of our business is to drive traffic back to our website, and that's where it kind of seals the deal. But yes, if there, some people will find you directly through a Google search or through a Google ad, and others will find you indirectly through your social media presence or whatnot, and all of that has to have that favorable first impression. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think too, one thing that I really, we talked about it, but I really want to kind of make it a point. It needs to be cohesive. So
Yeah.
what they're saying, what they're seeing on LinkedIn, what they're seeing on Facebook, there shouldn't be a disconnect in your
Yes.
brand because that just dilutes it, waters it down, and it really makes it hard for people to really understand what you stand for, which also means now it's not powerful, it's not strong.
Yeah, and even worse than diluted and watered down is that it creates distrust.
Mm.
So when, and especially, I understand why this happens, but there are a lot of brand new entrepreneurs and small business owners who want to try and save money and do everything themselves. They'll whip up a Wix website and try to create something themselves in Canva. And because they don't come at it from that lens of
Mm.
what is my brand positioning, it looks homemade, it looks amateurish, but it doesn't in their eyes. It's like their newborn baby, like
Right.
they're so proud of what they accomplished and they think it's the most amazing thing that ever happened. I felt the same way 25 years ago when I built, I designed my own first logo too. So you can't use your own idea of what your brand looks like because it's going to be beautiful no matter what. But the perception that is happening when other people look at it, they're going, oh, this is scattered. The colors look kind of weird. There's different fonts being used, and all of that is a visceral feeling of distrust. They're not going to say out loud, oh, I don't trust these people. It's something that they sense. It's
Yeah.
inside, and then they'll move on off.
Yeah. You're going to lose the business and you don't even know it.
You don't even know it. There's lots of losing of businesses out there right now, or the losing your ideal client because they didn't get the right impression.
Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement. So what's one takeaway? What's one thing people could do right now as a takeaway and go take some action on it, Susan?
Work on your brand analysis. Come up with your brand blueprint, even if you've been in business for 5 years. But if you're struggling, if the leads are drying up, you're not getting the sales that you think you should have because you have an amazing product or service that you're offering to the world, go back to the foundation. Go back and analyze, okay, what is it that makes me unique? Who is actually my ideal target audience? And it's not just the surface stuff, it's getting in their head,
Right.
understanding the language that is actually being spoken in their heads so that you can emulate that language and so that they can feel like, oh, this person gets me. They understand what I'm going through. That immediately evokes that trust. So go back to that foundational piece of figuring out what your brand blueprint is and then change, adjust from there.
And honestly, that should be done all the time anyway, because things shift in the market. We pivot in our businesses a bit. It doesn't mean you throw everything out and start back over. You can keep the colors, you can keep the font, you can keep the look, right? But you can change your message. Even as our businesses evolve and we elevate our businesses, what we're doing now goes up. And so all of that has to be revisited periodically, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a one and done.
It is not a one and done because our business evolves. Absolutely. And the
Yes.
people that we serve change over the
Yes.
years as well. Or you get more clarity on who the ideal client is, as opposed to, I'll just take anybody who's breathing right now.
That's when you start, right? You'll take anyone, right? But yeah, as you evolve and as you start building your business, that changes. And so you have to change with it. One of the things that I've seen entrepreneurs do over time is we're leveling them up, because I help them really level up, right? And they're like, but I just did all that. Okay, well, you then stay where you are, right? But look, if you're going to go to another level, things have to shift and things have to change. And that often starts with your brand and your positioning.
It does. It has to start with your branding, your positioning. It has to, because that is what drives the messaging. the marketing message and how you come across and what kind of posts are you supposed to be doing on social media and what
And
kind
even
of
your
action,
marketing strategy, like how
the
you're
whole thing.
everything, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it even defines what kind of program should you be creating? Because I find I've been doing this for like 22 years now, 25 years. And I was guilty of it just as like everybody else. But when I look at who my target audience is, I go, they need this. They need their brand positioning. But they're not looking at me going, I need brand positioning.
Right, right.
What is that? They don't even know what that is.
Mhm.
They're looking at me going, I need more leads, more sales, more traffic to my website so that I can get more leads and more sales. So you
Right.
have to speak their language and cater to what they are looking for, not necessarily what you think they need.
Absolutely. So good. So good. Gosh, we could talk a long time on this. So Susan, I love for people to see inside of other people's businesses and peek behind the curtain. What are your big goals in your business for, let's say, the next 12 months?
Well, that's a really good question because I've been doing this for a long time. And so I've reached many of my goals already, but I think right now I am on the path of education. I'm doing these podcasts and getting the word out so that I can stop seeing so many people, entrepreneurs really struggle. So my goal is to get on the stage, get the word out, get more people who understand what brand positioning really is, and just that would make my day.
So she's building her visibility in the market. That's what she's doing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Taking
yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So what are the challenges that you see going that you maybe are having or some shifts that you've seen and feel like a challenge now? What are some of those things for you?
Yeah, there's always like on a personal level, I question, do I have the energy for this? I already have a very successful business that I'm running. And so, how much time and energy do I want to put into this? So there's always that balance. AI coming into the scene is shifting things dramatically, so much so that I'm actually putting together a workbook right now that includes AI prompts to help people figure out what their brand positioning is. It won't be ready for a few more months yet. But so AI has definitely created a huge shift in what everybody does. And that is a whole nother topic. Maybe I should come back one day and we can talk about AI because I
AI
got
is a
lots
yes,
to
it's a
say.
different animal for sure. I use it in my business. I know most people are using it, and it's interesting how you're now kind of pulling that into to yours
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. But a lot of people are using it, but it's just a tool.
They're
Just like a
using it
calculator
badly.
is just a tool.
Yes, yes,
And you're not automatically, magically a mathematician just because you know a tool. So you
yes.
need to know how to use that tool properly in order to not hurt your brand because of what you're using in your business using that tool. So anyway, that's a whole
Well,
nother.
I always say, and I don't want to get too much into AI here, but one thing that people need to understand is you have to be somewhat a subject expert if you're going
Yes.
to get the right stuff out of AI.
Yes,
Otherwise, you
exactly.
really have no idea if it's
Yeah.
really helping you to that degree, or if you can't have a conversation around what it is you do, but your content and everything is brilliant, you're probably not going to make sales. So there is a level that also is a level of trust, but AI
Yeah.
can definitely help you elevate some of the things that you're doing as long
Mhm.
as you know what you're doing. And I think that's where it can, like you said, it's a tool. To me, that's a great way to use it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, there's so much I could say because
Yeah.
we use AI a lot,
Mhm.
and I spend more time correcting ChatGPT
Yes.
than using
Yes.
what it spits out because
Yes.
I know. Oh, well, wait a second. What about this? Oh, you're absolutely right, Susan. Let's put
Right.
that in.
Mhm.
So, don't blindly trust what it spits out. You got to know what to look for and what the
Yes, you have to
results.
know your stuff. You do. If you're
Yeah.
going to get the most out of it. Yeah, that is a whole nother conversation. So, Susan, it was so great having you on. How can people find you? And then also, you do have a freebie if you want to share that real quick, and we'll put the links and everything in the show notes. So, go ahead and share that.
Yeah, so I have a brand brilliance checklist, and it's a checklist of 25 things to look out for and research and analyze that goes into your brand blueprint. And I would love to offer that to your viewers. You just go to brandbrilliancechecklist.com, and I'm throwing in a 30-minute free consultation with me. So you do your checklist, and then you come to our session, and let's review. Let's find out what part of your brand is really lacking. How can I help you figure out what should we do to escalate your brand, get you to stand out more, and get more of those leads and sales that you're looking for.
Fantastic. And here's the deal, everyone. It's no longer negotiable. If you are going to be a real business, if you're going to really do anything in your business, you need to do this. Like Susan said, it is the foundation of your business. It's where I start with all of my clients. And I know you do as well.
Absolutely.
Even though that's your main thing, you do other things too, but you have to start there, because it's otherwise you can't market until you know what the brand positioning is. You
That's
can't,
right.
even your offers and everything. So it all works together. So it's non-negotiable. You have to do
It really is. It really is. I'll quote you on that, Anne, because it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. And I have a marketing agency. So, my specialty is the branding part. And then we can fulfill the brand, design the
Yeah,
logo, build the website, do the marketing. So, I do come to the table with a wealth of information from that perspective.
that's great. What's your best way to get clients, Susan?
Referrals.
Okay.
Because I've built so much trust with our
Mhm.
clients over 20 plus years that referrals just pour in all the time because we do a good job, and we have built a lot of trust equity out there.
Well, who doesn't love those?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in to Expert News Showcase. Susan, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day, and make sure you like and subscribe to the show, subscribe to the channel, and share it. God bless you. Bye-bye. If you are ready to attract high-paying clients like clockwork, build powerful influence, and scale your business with ease, let's talk. Book a complimentary $1 Million Accelerator Strategy call at acarden.com to discover how the Expert in You method can help you create a steady stream of premium clients and consistent revenue growth. Don't wait. Your next big breakthrough starts with a simple conversation. Visit acarden.com and let's make it happen. Have an amazing day, and God bless you.